Hi everybody, this is Rob Harris, and I'm excited to finally show you the very first business that I launched back in 2006 when I was still in college. And this business that I created ended up grossing close to $3 million in sales. Now, I gotta say nearly $3 million because when I added it all up, I believe I was about $50,000 short of the $3 million mark, which, I could say is somewhat frustrating, but I'll take what I can get because $2.9 million in sales is pretty awesome. And at the time, I was really young when this whole thing took off. But let me first start from the very beginning. The whole reason why I even built this business was just because of a casual conversation I was having with a friend. In fact, this friend was a coworker. And my friend was showing me a website that he had built, which had affiliate links on it. So a few banners and links that were all affiliate commissions that he was generating by using Google AdWords to drive traffic to his page. And at the time, I was learning how to build websites. I had a software program called Dreamweaver. And what I told him was, I said, it would be better if it was something like eBaum's World. I don't know if you guys remember that website, but back then that was a very popular humor website with funny videos. This is before YouTube was really popular. In fact, I think at the time YouTube was just barely taking off. But anyways, long story short, I ended up building a website that was kind of like eBaum's World. I had about 400 to 500 visitors per day, and the way that I got traffic was through MySpace. So I was constantly posting links from MySpace of these videos. People were clicking on them, they were watching them, and then I had a ton of banner ads, like a ridiculous amount of affiliate links all around the video. And through all that effort and all that time, I only had one person actually click on an ad which converted into a sell. But this is what opened the door for me, because as I was trying to figure out how to drive traffic, I came across a very simple program which automated MySpace. Basically sent out friend requests, but it was really basic. There was a ton of other features that after I saw it, I thought, oh, it would be great if it could do this. And long story short, I went to a few different websites where you can post a job description looking for a coder, which I'm going to show you later in this video, which sites I went to. And I ended up hiring a programmer that ended up building this program. And this programmer, just so you know, I didn't even pay any money up front. We ended up negotiating a deal to where he got a certain percent of the commissions, of the sell. A certain percent of the sell, of every sell, went to him. So I had no upfront cost on hiring this programmer. In fact, at the time, I was a poor college student, working a full-time job, barely making ends meet. I had to get 3 credit cards with a credit limit of $1,500 between the 3. That's, I think it was like $500 per card basically is what it came to. And that's all I used to launch my business, which then went on to gross close to $3 million in sales. But anyways, I want to show you what it was that we ended up building. And as I go through this video, this is going to take me back because this was 2006 when we launched it. And I had this business for roughly 6 years. By 2012 is when it ran its course. But let me show you this. So if you're looking on the screen, you're going to see a website that's called addnewfriends.com. That was my website that I had built. And it was for the software tool that my programmer ended up creating, which helped automate the process of sending out friend requests. The neat thing about MySpace was there was no limit. You could have millions of friends on MySpace. And this tool that I created could do all kinds of stuff, from sending out event invites, group invites, had an auto commenter feature, an auto messenger feature. And the cool thing with these the messenger feature is you could write what it was you wanted to send for a message. And then I had my programmer add it to where you could type in like a code, for name, and it would find the person that you're sending a message to, and it would replace that code with that person's name, so it would appear a lot more personalized. I ended up selling 76,000 copies of this program over the course of those 6 years. But in the very beginning, it started to take off pretty well, but it wasn't until I added an affiliate program that this whole thing started to blow up. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's kind of just go through the website. And again, I haven't seen this in a while. I actually had to dig through some of my old hard drives, external hard drives, to find some screenshots and some pictures of these websites that I had back then, just to put this all together for you. But first of all, let's take a look at this. This actually has a little screenshot of the software itself, and then I had this cool little cartoon character guy where it says more features and faster updates than any other automated software. Now, I don't know if that was necessarily true, but my competitors were using language like that, and I was thinking, screw that, we got something better than you guys, and that was just my mindset. But let me show you. So here's another screenshot that I had taken of the software itself, and you're going to see it's actually MySpace. It's a browser that was built into the software program, or I should say the software program was built around the browser. And on the left, you're going to see a list of IDs. Those were MySpace IDs. So each one of those represents a profile on MySpace. And what I could do is I could go to a group page or somebody's personal page, and I could actually gather all their friends, just basically all into a list. And then the software would send out up to 500 friend requests per day, because that was the limit. MySpace had a limit of 500 per day. But, if you're running the software, we had it all automated so that it would automatically turn on. It would send out 500 friend requests, and then it would stop. And then the next day, it would turn back on, send out 500 friend requests, and then it would stop. And same thing, if you wanted to do timed bulletins or the auto messenger, the invite, all kinds of stuff. In fact, I'd get a lot of emails from people that were musicians. I had a ton of musicians that were using this. I even had church organizers that were using this. I had one band tell me that thanks to this software, their CD ended up making it to, I guess, the top 5 at Walmart for sales. And a ton of marketers were using this. This is funny. As I'm looking at the screenshot, I had a dummy account which says login name robisrich@hotmail.com. At the time, this was just kind of mind-blowing to me, because I actually built this up to where it was grossing an average of $2,000 per day. My PayPal account was ridiculous. I'd wake up in the morning and there'd be close to $1,000 that I made while I was sleeping. In fact, $2,000 got to be almost like a bad day, because I had some days that were as high as $5,000. And I'm not saying this to impress you guys. I'm just trying to show you guys the reality, the world that I was living in at that time, of just how big this got. And anyways, let me show you what else. So we had built this around MySpace, but then of course YouTube was taking off. And I created another program called Tube Blaster Pro. This is just a mock-up. So obviously the websites have been down for 7 years, but I found some mock-ups of the designer that I hired. I should tell you, first of all, the very first website for addnewfriends.com, I built, and I tried to, because at that time I had no money, I tried to do everything I could myself, and that's where the $1,500, came in handy for the things I couldn't put on the site. I would hire somebody to build that out for me. But my original website did not look anything like this. It was a very basic, clean-looking site, but it wasn't until this company started generating money that I was able to go out there and hire an actual designer. In fact, this design cost me a little over $2,000, but I found this guy. He actually designed one of my competitors' websites, and at the very bottom had a link to his own site. And I contacted him and said, I love your work. And him and I went back and forth, and he created this design. And he went on to create 2 other websites for me. So he also designed Tube Blaster Pro. I wanted to keep the same cartoon character guy with the backwards hat, just to kind of keep the theme consistent between each website. But again, this is just a mock-up. Right there where you have a box at the very top of this, that's where I ended up swapping it out and showed the actual software. which is right here. I got a screenshot of this. So this is for Tube Blaster Pro, which did something similar to what my Friend Blaster Pro program did for MySpace, where it sent out friend requests, messages, channel subscriptions, video comments, did a ton of stuff. And this is what the download page looked like. And of course, for all of my software, I had one for MySpace, YouTube, and Twitter. I had a single account, which sold for $29.95, an unlimited YouTube account, which means you could have as many YouTube accounts as you wanted to, but it was limited to one computer. So from your one computer, you could use unlimited YouTube accounts, or you could have one account which you could use on any computer. And I had to have that restricted that way just to make sure that nobody was abusing the unlimited feature on this. But anyways, it was $29.95 or $59.95 for the unlimited. And if somebody bought a single account, they could later upgrade for $30. So I had that same system for all three websites. And then, of course, I had some banners that were created because I ended up creating an affiliate account. So I had affiliates that were embedding this onto their blogs, all over their website. Birdie Adder was the name of the Twitter version of my software that we had created. And here's just a mock-up. I know it says YouTube Friends. Again, this is just a mock-up. So once this actually went live, I went in and I changed the text on here. But this is what my download page looks like. Again, same layout, $29.95 for a single account, $59.95 for unlimited. All those did very well. Now I want to show you this. I actually went to YouTube. So this is live. And these are old videos that people had created 9, 10, 11 years ago. And some of these have a lot of views. Some of them have a couple hundred, but this one has 18,000 views, 10,000 views, 11,000 views. And the reason why all these people were affiliates. I had over 4,000 affiliates, but I had about 10 that I was paying a lot of money to. I know a couple I was paying over $100,000 a year. So over $100,000 in commissions a few of these affiliates were making for my software. And of course, they would use YouTube to make tutorials. So I never had to make a tutorial for any of my programs. I had affiliates that just took it upon themselves to do it, which was smart. Then they would just embed their link. See this little download here with a bit.ly masked link. So anyways, I found this interesting that all these videos are still up, but of course it's YouTube. So this one had 42,000 views. So anyway, so that's YouTube. Let me show you the affiliate software that I was using. I was using a program called iDev Affiliate. So if you go to idevaffiliate.com, you can find it. This has a ton of really cool features which track pretty much everything that you'd want to have tracked as an affiliate. But if I were to do this again, which I actually am, which I'll get more into later in the video, affiliatewp.com, which is for WordPress. It's $250, somewhere around there, and it has pretty much all the same features that iDev Affiliate has. It just has a much better, clean look, and I like how it's really user-friendly with WordPress, which is how I build all my websites now. In fact, if you don't know about WordPress, WordPress makes up roughly over 30% of all the websites that are on the internet. So I want to show you guys. So I found my programmer on freelancer.com. In fact, when I was, again, back in 2006, when I was building this, you know, I was excited. I had a vision. I just knew, you know, I had that feeling inside. I'm like, I know this is going to do well, but I need to find a programmer. And so I took those steps and I posted a job description on freelancer.com, guru.com. There was a third website, which doesn't look like it's in existence anymore, or maybe it turned into another company. But it was called Get a Freelancer. It was called Get a Coder. Freelancer.com used to be called Get a Freelancer, but they bought freelancer.com and now they're freelancer.com. But anyways, freelancer.com, guru.com, and I just wanted to give you guys a third example but Upwork.com, if you're looking for a coder or pretty much anything, from web design to somebody writing blogs or whatever it is you need, you can find on Upwork.com as well. Now, I want to kind of show you guys just where I'm going with all this. First of all, I plan on making a lot more videos. I want to show you guys how I build websites. And my first step is I got to find a theme. And so if you go to themeforest.net, you're going to find thousands and thousands of different kinds of themes that are on here. In fact, I want to show you guys real quick. And I know I'm just going to jump around a little bit on this video. But back in 2012, I actually built my first WordPress website. And it was RoylandTV.com. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Rick and Morty, but I'm actually really good friends with Justin Roiland, who created that show. Him and I lived just a couple blocks. We grew up just a few blocks from each other, went to the same high school. But I ended up building his website, RoylandTV.com, and it was just a WordPress theme. And then him and I went back and forth, and he customized these tabs on top, and then I swapped out what the default image was for what he drew, and built a pretty cool theme. Now it's a little bit outdated, but it works. He's got tons of cool videos on here, but that's how I got my start. And I want to show you guys my personal website, which I'm using today for me. It's robharris.net. This one is featured. It's more geared towards cryptocurrency because it's one of the things that I'm pretty passionate about. In fact, I do a weekly podcast. In fact, if you go to the very top, you can see Crypto Amigos podcast once a week. I do a podcast with Chris Rice Crypto and Joel Kovshoff. In fact, you could find a bunch of our recent videos that are on here. And and one thing I wanted to tell you guys. So, in a couple of weeks from now, I have a company that I've been helping make cryptocurrency educational content for, but that I'm also going to be making a lot more of these type of videos for, which are basically educational. I want to start teaching people how they can start their own online business. So that's launching in about 2 weeks from now. In fact, I got a counter here. So we're looking at about 12 days, 12 hours. And that's just a rough estimate. It could take a couple extra days. There's a bunch of programming that's happening in the back office. A lot of videos are being uploaded as we speak to be put in place. This video I'm making right here will also be included on the site. In fact, we plan on having a lot of free content. I don't want to say too much because if I do, then I got to go through compliance and get approval to have this video released to you guys. But just keep an eye out that I've got something pretty big, and there's already thousands of people from another company that we're merging all together. It's an affiliate-based educational type of platform with many other things. But again, I don't want to say too much, otherwise I got to run through the owner of the company, and I don't want to go there in this video. But I do want to say, if you're interested in getting access to a ton of really valuable videos, just like this one that I'm creating for you guys right here, then go to my website, go to robharris.net, and click on Contact Me. And on here, I can tell you the name of the company. It's Economix, spelled EKONOMX. So Economix, I know, kind of a funny spelling. The actual website isn't live yet, but it will be. So if you want to just put in your first last name and just say that you're interested in economics, if you don't remember that spelling, just spell it the regular way. Just say, hey, keep me on the list for economics, and I will make sure to email you once that's launched, because I wish I can get into it in this video, but there's a lot of really cool stuff that's coming. In fact, I talked to the owner of that company earlier today, and big stuff, really big stuff. I'll just leave it at that. But I want to kind of just give you a little snippet of some of the things I've been working on, and then some of the videos that I'm going to be creating over the next few weeks to show you guys. This right here is a website that I built, and it's called trendybee.com. There's a lot of people, so this is a drop shipping website, and I know a lot of drop shippers most likely won't show you one of their websites, just because, I mean, some of these things, the reason why I'm showing this to you is whatever I have that goes viral, I'm going to take it off this site, and I'm going to create a single product store around that product. This site is just a testing site. And so I'm going to be making a lot of videos which features this website that I built, which I created the logo and everything for. In fact, I want to go and I'll have some videos that I break down how I create the logo for the site, how I create some of the marketing videos, the stuff that I plan on showing you guys is going to blow your mind. Here's a t-shirt I created. I told you so. I created that using a online website called canva.com, and there's a free version and there's a $10 per month version which allows you to export transparent backgrounds, which is what I needed for the t-shirt. But for $10 a month, it's so worth it. There's tons of images in here, and this is the site that I use to create this t-shirt, which then for me, I can post in some of my personal website, for example, robharris.net, or my page, and share this with my audience that is really into cryptocurrency. And then I have a bunch of t-shirts which I did not design that are on here as well. You know what? I'll admit I actually created one of these down here. So yeah, I created I support LGBTQ, which, you know what? I actually do. Whatever your sexual preference is, by all means, I love everybody. But this one with a little bit of a twist: liberty, guns, Bible, Trump, and QAnon. For those that know me, you're going to know that I'm a Trump supporter. I'm just going to leave it there. Don't hate me if you don't like the president. That's by all means, you're entitled to your own opinion. Me, I love our country and I support our president and Second Amendment, that kind of stuff. And this is a shirt that I created, and I want to show you the reason why I created this real quick, because from a marketing perspective, what I did was I actually went to Pinterest. And Pinterest is pretty fantastic. In fact, if you want to get an idea for a shirt to design, just type in a Trump t-shirt. This is how I got the idea for the shirt. And you're going to find the most popular. Some of these are pro-Trump, some of these are anti-Trump, whatever. But these are what are trending. And so if you go through here, you can get some ideas on what works. And as long as you change something, somebody on here had created LGBT, and they left out the Q, and that was one of the small changes that I made. In fact, and then what you do is you join groups that are pro-Trump, and then you share that in there, and people think, oh, that's a cool shirt, and then you make sales through that. So just to give you some ideas, so these shirts are from a plugin that's called Dropshipping USA. This is a Shopify store, which I'm going to have another video which breaks down Shopify. But the cool thing is they have apps which you can activate, and then, for example, this particular app has a ton of products, and t-shirts were part of the category. Well, if I'm going to make my own shirts, which I've only made 2 on here so far, then I got to have other shirts on here, and I don't have the time to make hundreds of different type of t-shirts. So basically, I went in here, and I think I've got about 200 t-shirts that I just imported with a click of a button. Like, oh, I like that. That's funny. Oh, I like that. And then I'm mixing it up with some of the shirts that I'm creating through a website called Printful. And Printful has a really cool plugin that you can click on, which then imports your design onto your Shopify store, which again, my Shopify store is trendybee.com. And then from here, I could just take a link to it and just paste it on Facebook, or I can, market it, advertise it, even on Instagram, which is something that I'm working on. I have an Instagram software program with the same programmer that we built the Friend Blaster Pro, Tube Blaster Pro, and Birdie Adder software for, but with a twist. So our initial programs automated the sites, which now when I look back at it, I'll admit, yeah, as good as it was for those that were using it as a tool to market. For those on the receiving end, they would probably view it as spam. And I didn't really become very active on social media until about 2012. I resisted Facebook. I did not want to get on Facebook. Plus, I resented Facebook because it really killed my business. Because my bread and butter was MySpace. The majority of the $2.9 million in sales that I had was through the MySpace program. The YouTube and the Twitter programs did all right, but Facebook really ended up killing my initial business. But I can't be mad. It was a 6-year wave, and a lot of these things they're just waves. And I caught it at the very beginning, and I rode it all the way out for 6 years. And to be honest, I learned a lot. You know, for those, if you haven't experienced success at the level of, I don't know how to put this, but I mean, $2,000 a day for a 20-something-year-old is ridiculous. And as exciting as it was to be able to work from home, get out of bed, get on the couch, just get on my computer, at a certain point, I'd say about 3 years in out of the 6 years, I wasn't feeling satisfied. The money wasn't making me happy. You know, I mean, it was nice. I never had to worry about bills or anything, but I was missing that person-to-person interaction. And so about halfway through my business, my first business, I convinced myself that I wish I had a traditional business. You know, I wish I had that person-to-person interaction. And I ended up doing that. You know, back in 2014, I ended up starting a window installation company. I thought I wanted a real traditional business. Did that for 4 years. Actually built that up. I had 2 separate crews, and you know, I thought that's what I wanted, and then I realized after 4 years, this sucks. But I was proud of myself that I'd built something, that I went another avenue, and that I was able to build something out of nothing. And since then, I've bounced around. I've done some network marketing. I've met a lot of great people. In fact, in the network marketing field, I've had a little brush of success with some of the ventures that I've been a part of, as well as some failures and disappointments and frustrations, and you know, learned a lot about myself doing that. But it was something that really allowed me to put myself out there and push myself to even the point to where last year I was getting up on stage, and this was for cryptocurrency for a company, well, technically the same company that I'm helping now, but under a different name is what they're going to be rolling out with in the next couple of weeks, and with so much more than what it was. I've been with that since the very beginning. I don't want to get derailed on that, though. Long story short, this has been an incredible journey, and here I am kind of full circle with a full focus and dedication towards my Instagram program with my programmer, which currently has been focused on large brands and ad agencies, which is using the software that we built for Instagram influencers. Basically, what it does is it helps make sure that the influencers have legit fans versus somebody that can go on to, there's a ton of third-party websites where you can purchase fake fans. And the problem with that, if you're an Instagram influencer and you're claiming to have 500,000 followers, but the majority of them are fake, technically you're committing fraud if you're asking for money from a brand to promote their product to your audience, which isn't real. So we actually created a tool back in 2015, which is still doing very well. That helps and actually goes through every single fan to verify that it's authentic. You know, from how many times do they log in? Do they have a profile picture? Do they comment? Are other people following them? Or are they dormant? are these fans that haven't logged in over a year. In fact, some of these top brands, which I'm not going to name their names, but I mean top well-known brands, roughly 40% of their audience are dormant. They haven't logged into Instagram in over a year. So what good does it do if it shows that they've got 4 million followers if 40% of them are no longer active? So that's basically what the software does. And we're working on a bunch of new features, which is going to open it up to basically anybody that wants to use Instagram to market. And one of the reasons that you might want to consider using Instagram to market is if you're doing something like drop shipping. You could get a t-shirt or, really cool headphones or something and post it onto, an Instagram influencer's page. The great thing with an Instagram influencer is that if they've got a loyal following, which there's many that do, and they say, hey, come check out, this really cool, these really cool headphones or whatever it is, a lot of their audience will purchase that. And so you might be able to, for 24 hours, get your product listed on an influencer's page for, they all charge different prices, but $250, $500. If they've got like millions of followers, it could be anywhere from 1,000 or two. But long story short, I'm working on a way to get people connected. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I will also be opening up to affiliates. So there's going to be some pretty big potential I'm really excited about. And between that, the drop shipping, the print on demand stuff, the Oberlo, if you don't know what this is, basically Oberlo works in between AliExpress, where you might find a product that is based in China that costs $3 or $4, which then Oberlo can automatically import into your Shopify store and you can have it built so that it automatically adds a markup, double whatever the cost is, or add $20 if it's, below a certain price, and boom. Then you've got a store, you've got a product that has a profit margin that then you can send to an Instagram influencer, or you could use Facebook ads. There's many different ways you can market this stuff. Or there's some really cool video tools that help you make videos in a very short amount of time. Long story short, I wanted to make this video just to kind of show you guys some of the stuff that I'm working on, some of the stuff I've done in the past, and just to show you guys how passionate I am to bring this information to you, and with really just kind of an encouragement that you can do this, and I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to show you some of the exact things I'm doing because I don't want a bunch of people just copying me. So I'm trying to show you the things that I'm doing, but encouraging you to come up with, find whatever product or whatever store you want to build. You can build a niche store. Maybe you're into kayaking, or maybe you're into fishing or camping or hiking, or maybe it's beauty products or health related products, or whatever it might be. You can build a niche store around that. And so my goal is to help show you how to put that together using Shopify and using some of these cool tools like Oberlo, which again, hold on. Let me show you something real quick. So the cool thing, there's so many awesome apps. If you scroll down to the bottom here, you're going to find all these reviews. There's an app that basically, within a click of a button, imported all these reviews from AliExpress. But the people that are looking at this, they don't know that. They just know that on my store, there's 1,404 people who gave it 5 stars, and there's 67 people who gave it 4 stars. I didn't manually put all this in there. I just clicked an import button from an app, which then took all the reviews, at least all the 4 and 5 star reviews from AliExpress, and imported it, basically instantly. It's one of the coolest things. There's so many cool tricks and so many cool ways just to automate building your own store. It's kind of mind-blowing. I think I've pretty much covered everything. And yeah, just this was pretty cool. Kind of took me back on memory lane And again, I just wanted to show you guys this, that, you can do this. Again, to have this software made, this didn't cost me any money. I just worked out and negotiated a deal with a programmer who is now a very close friend of mine, because for a long time I was sending him, and I'm still sending him a pretty good amount of money every month, but back in these days, he was very happy. And once we add a few more features that we're doing with our Instagram thing, I believe we can get right back to this again, to a few $1,000s per day in sales, big time. I don't know. I don't want to say anything else. Just big stuff is coming. All right. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I look forward to making the next one. See ya.